It's noon here in Ventnor City, New Jersey, and our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. And this is CarEdge Live for Monday, November 24th, with your host, me, right here in Ventnor, and Zach. Well, there looks like he's getting ready to hunt a turkey for Thanksgiving, based on what I see behind him. How are you today, handsome?
Doing okay, Pops. Happy Monday. Excited. It's Thanksgiving week. Hope everyone's looking forward to having their Thanksgiving plans on Thursday. Today's show, however, we got to talk about it, is brought to you by CarEdge.com. Folks, we've got a couple more days here for our promotion. $150 off our car buying service and 15% off CarEdge Pro. For those of you that are thinking about buying a car between now and the end of the year, please learn more about our car buying services back at CarEdge.com. Get an expert car shopper doing all the work for you. And please start with a free consultation call with our team and then meet our team of incredible concierges all here back on CarEdge.com/concierge. Dad, I thought we'd do something a little different on today's show. You know, usually we talk about the news and spend time on that. I thought we'd talk about why car shopping in America is broken, and I thought we could take the time to actually prove that out. How does that sound to you?
Well, I love when you throw me a curveball. Let's see if I have major league potential and I can handle that slow curve that you're throwing me.
You want to change up or you want the curveball? Sounds like you're going to get the curveball. Dad, here's the deal.
Yeah.
A year ago, I emailed 100 Ford dealers to get the price for the same vehicle. We made a video about it, and it went kind of viral, over 1 million views, which is incredible. We emailed 100 Ford dealers asking for out-the-door pricing on pretty much the same vehicle that they had in stock nationwide. We're gearing up to do round 2 of that. So here's the spreadsheet. We're going to be reaching out to 100 Ford dealerships here this week, trying to get pricing on vehicles. And what I want to show you just off the bat here, Dad,
yes,
is that we're targeting all the same make, model, and trim with MSRPs between $64,500 and $65,500. So they're all pretty much the same vehicle.
Sounds like it.
What you're looking at in this column, the price column, is the dealer advertised price, and I've sorted it from lowest to highest. So think about this for a second. These are all the same MSRP vehicle, yet the lowest dealer advertised price comes from a dealership in Arkansas, Kavanaugh Ford, advertising this vehicle for $46,550. If I scroll down to the bottom here, the highest advertised price is $64,705. I'm not good at math, but that's an $18,000 price difference on the advertised price for the same MSRP Ford F-150 XLT. We'll dig into more of the data here. We'll click through to some of the dealer websites and look at this in a moment. But Dad, how do you reconcile that out of 100 Ford F-150, 2025 Ford F-150 XLTs with the same MSRP, you have online advertised price differences of $46,000 to $64,000 and $18,000 price gap? Make it make sense.
Can't. I can't. I mean, you want me to make it make sense. Okay, it's retail automotive. It is states not enforcing FTC and state advertising regulations, allowing dealers to manipulate the prices that they advertise when they have no intention whatsoever of selling the vehicle at that advertised price. It's the manufacturers, because of the franchise agreements, not having the ability to discipline dealers for doing this. And it is business decisions that are made by dealership owners who say, hey, if I can't lie to you, I can't sell you a car. And it just seems to me that it seems to start at the top, where the dealer principal has to say, we're going to figure out a legitimate way to advertise our prices and to sell cars without having to lie, cheat, or steal to do it.
Let's look at a few of how these dealerships merchandise their inventory. So let me pull this back up on the screen. So here's one of the dealerships, Dad. I'm allowing cookies. We're at Southwest Ford.
Yes.
Get rid of the chat bot. Okay, here we go. 2025 Ford F-150 XLT courtesy vehicle. So maybe this has some miles on it. Let's see here. Let's
Which
scroll
would
down.
make me think that it was either a service loaner or a demo.
I don't see anything that acknowledges that. But they've got here, Dad, $15,822 in savings, $49,198
Yes.
MSRP, dealer discount, retail bonus cash. Here's your price. Check my conditional incentives. So that's one advertisement. Whoops,
Yes.
I got this thing. No, I like paying full price for my cars. There you go.
Oh, I love that. Hey, are you interested in a smart buy, or did you want to stick with the conventional dumb buy?
Now here's another one, Dad. I'll pull it up on the screen. Tasca Ford.
Yes.
Allow cookies. Get rid of the chat bot. Okay. 64,905 total savings, 2,750, 62,155 bucks. Does this not just like scream? I mean, if it's legitimate, which to be clear, the reason we do this video, it'll be out probably next week. We're actually going to get out the door prices from as many of these dealers that it'll send it back to us as possible.
Yes.
But I mean, where's Tasca Ford? Give me a second.
Well,
Tasca
I
Ford.
will assure you the two that had the lowest prices will never give you an out the door price.
So that's the interesting piece about this, right? Because Tasca Ford's in Rhode Island. The
Yes.
other one that had a really high selling price is this one here from Flood Ford, which is also in Rhode Island. They're trying to sell this thing at MSRP. Why would you ever buy a car in Rhode Island when, let me come back to my spreadsheet and scroll back up here. I don't know. Let's look at this one in Nebraska. I'm just choosing a random one. Okay. All right. Allow cookies. I don't want to save. Oh my God. Wait a second. A lot of things going on. Why would I ever buy that vehicle in Rhode Island when I could come to Nebraska and get an $8,528 Woodhouse discount? And then obviously I've got the trade assistance too and the retail bonus cash that they're all adding up for my $51,551 price point. Like, this is what's broken about buying a car in America. We have that big of a price difference. Why would I ever buy in Rhode Island?
Because you want to help your local state economy.
No, Dad, we are rational consumers. Why? This is because these websites are probably BS. This will be what's so interesting about that video that comes out next week. What is the actual out the door? How many dealerships actually give out the door prices? And then what is the actual out the door price when you add on all the taxes and fees? And I do wonder, Dad.
Yes.
Would these dealers sell these cars out of state? Because again, this list shows you this column right here. This is the dealer advertised price. This is the vehicle's MSRP. This is the dealer's advertised price. Here's the state that the vehicle's located in and the dealership. There's a tremendous spread here of what dealers are advertising.
And so in answer to your question, would some of those dealers sell to an out-of-state customer? Perhaps, and perhaps some of the rebates that are available, that whatever the trade assistance to was, or that other, could be localized by zip code, because oftentimes, when I was one of the managers at Acura North Scottsdale, not too far from California last time I checked, our incentives that we had from Acura did not include California residents. So,
Ford is notorious for this too. Ford is super notorious. I mean, you could be in the same county but have different zip codes. And some Ford incentives, they use a program called Vincent, and it's like highly, highly, highly specific. So I could totally see that happening.
Yes, but taking that away, and let's say out of that was $13,800 worth of savings between everything. Let's say 2,000 of that was geo-specific, so that somebody in Nebraska would qualify, but somebody from Rhode Island would not. But that still would be significantly better and cheaper than the price that the Rhode Island dealership was showing, even if that $2,000 disappeared. So, listen, it's not that buying a car in the United States has been broken forever. Okay, and not just today, not just yesterday, not just 8 years ago when I was still in the business, not 40 or 50 years ago when I started in the business. it's been broken from day one. And why do I say that? Well, when cars first came out, cars and trucks, they didn't have Monroney labels. They didn't have price stickers. It was the price of the vehicle was based upon the enthusiasm of the customer. If the customer was enthusiastic, they were paying more than the customer who was not. So it's been broken from day one. And then many of the creative people that work in retail automotive have figured out other ways to break it even more and even further. And then with the advent of the internet, well, the level of creativity soared even more. And that's when dealers began to realize, okay, let's apply every rebate known to man. Let's not include the $2,495 destination fee from the manufacturer. And we're just going to advertise a price that seems, well, way too good to be true, only because it's way too good to be true. But the truth of the matter is, so many buyers out there want to be deceived because they know it's too good to be true. There was a dealer at the top of that list that had that car for $46,000. Okay. And so how could a customer look at, how could any rational human being look at that and go, oh yeah, that's doable. Oh sure. Yeah, I bet you I could walk in there with a check and just, I could be in and out in 5 minutes. 5 days maybe ain't going to happen in 5 minutes.
It's unfortunate though, because they advertise these prices and then it's huge letdown. That's what buying a car in the United States has been and continues to be. It's a huge letdown when you actually go to the dealership and try and take advantage of what you saw advertised online. So much of it, Dad, does look like those stacking of incentives. So I'll pull up another example here. There's the retail bonus cash. Do you qualify? Who knows? Do you get the other retail bonus cash for an additional $1,000? Who knows? The dealer discount, is it $7,500? Well, not really when you add back in the doc fees or the add-ons. Is the trade assistance the additional $1,000? Do I get that? I don't know. Like, this advertisement makes it very confusing. To be clear here, this other dealership that just says we're selling it at MSRP, that's also lunacy in today's market.
Yes.
Because we know Ford has a massive oversupply. They're doing 0% financing for 60 months. How much more obvious does it need to be that the dealers are going to give deals on these things? You should not be paying MSRP. And then you look at this spreadsheet. Again, this is advertised price, MSRP, and just the spread here is astronomical. I'm kind of curious here to look in Maryland really quickly. Let's see. How does a Maryland dealership, where we've seen the Maryland State's Attorney General be very aggressive.
Yeah. Well,
so let's see here. How do they advertise?
Very aggressive, more aggressive than other attorney generals. But is it very aggressive? Who knows? I mean, here's an example right here that might not be legitimate or doable. But at least there's a term there that says conditional rebates. Ask if you qualify.
I like this.
That.
Yeah, I like this a lot.
Yeah. They're encouraging you to find out if you might qualify for the others. So that would make a rational person look at the first bottom line with the discount and the rebates and go, well, I guess anybody would qualify for that portion of it, but will I qualify for any additional rebates? And what would be interesting to know is if, in fact, anyone would qualify for the initial price discount and rebates that they had listed.
I am curious, though, Dad, if this conversation, starting to look at the data, and again, this video will be out next week. We're actually contacting all 100 of these Ford dealers to get out the door price quotes. How many actually give them? What's the price difference from what they had advertised to what they quote? What's the price difference from the lowest to the highest? Because again, it's the same freaking MSRP vehicle nationwide that we're reaching out on. So it's a really interesting, I don't know, like science experiment that we do once a year. And again, we did it last year. Thank you to everyone who watched this video. Got over 1 million views, emailing 100 Ford dealers to get the price of the same car. We're going to do the same title, same video, just a new model year. And I'm going to be curious to see, Dad. I am curious to see, does buying a car in a different state end up saving you a boatload of money? And I think the answer is probably yes. There are going to be some areas of this country where dealers just do not deal. And then there are going to be other areas of this country where dealers are like, screw it, we got to get rid of this stuff. We're going to get clean out the door price quotes. It's going to be an aggressive price. And it will further validate the need to do online research before you actually walk into a dealership. Heck, it'll probably prove that you don't need to walk into a dealership to get the best deal.
I do have a question for you, and I don't know if you remember the answer off the top of your head. But from having done that last year, do you remember what the percentage of dealers it was that A, even answered your email, and then B, of those who answered, how many actually provided an out the door number?
Let's take
Because that would further show just how broken the system is for selling cars in this country.
Yeah, I mean, this was last year's spreadsheet. So we got 13 responses.
Out of 100.
Yeah. Oh, wait, we got a few more. We got 20 responses out of 100.
That sent you an out the door price or just responded?
Just responded. Total out the door price was 12.
So 20% of the dealers that you contacted actually responded to you. 80 dealers did not deem a internet inquiry asking about a specific vehicle in their inventory as to what would that vehicle cost me. They didn't take that inquiry seriously enough to even respond to it. And then only 12 dealers out of 100 said, well, let's take a shot and see if we can find ourselves a deal here. So that just tells you how poorly run most dealerships are. And I will say this till the day that I die. Dealerships reflect the thinking and the actions of their owners. So if the sales staff and managers don't respond to an email, it's because the owner doesn't care that they do or don't respond to an email. That the owner believes that there's enough local people that he can take advantage of over the lifetime that he has the business, that he doesn't have to concern himself with people who are sending in emails and things of that nature. So it is, in my opinion, it always has been, it always will be, the culture of a dealership is a direct reflection of the owner of a dealership. And if the owner doesn't give a damn, then his employees don't give a damn. And if the owner's a crook, then he's going to employ crooks. And if the owner is like Earl Stewart in Florida, who wants to do things the right way, then the dealership, like his dealership, will do things the right way. But there's just not enough of those dealers who think that way. And that's the problem.
Just to call it out, there are also female operators, female owners. So, it's not just men who run these dealerships and end up employing these tactics. It's also women that run these dealerships and employ these tactics. So it's across the board here. You've got bad actors, regardless of if they're crotchety old men or crotchety old women. They are out there.
Could be crotchety young men and women, or crotchety middle-aged men and women. It has nothing to do with gender or age. It has everything to do with how you want your staff to treat your customers.
Yeah, completely agree. Now, Dad, let's turn our attention to a different Ford problem child. That would be recalls. Last time we looked at the recall list, I don't remember quite how many recalls Ford was up to. Do you remember?
Oh, was it 132?
Something like that, 132, 134. What do you think we're up to today, Dad? It's right before Thanksgiving. What do you think Ford is up to in terms of recalls? And for those of you that are unfamiliar, put guesses in the chat. The prior full calendar year recall record from the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration was General Motors, and what was it, 69, 89, something like that?
It was 69 was the total number of recalls in a given year. It was quite some time ago. And Ford surpassed that early on in the year. I'm going to guess in their quest to regain their title as the recall leader, because last year they lost it. So I'm going to guess that they're up to 140. That's
We
my
are getting awfully close to 140. I hate to tell you that you came up a little bit heavy-handed, Dad. We're up to 138 recalls over at Ford. 36% of all recalls this
so
year, both for commercial and non-commercial vehicles, are Ford recalls.
so I'm not, you've heard me say this before. I'm not good at math, but they have doubled the previous annual record for the number of recalls in a given year. So they didn't just smash it. Okay, they doubled it. This is like Joey Chestnut eating 120 hot dogs at the Nathan hot dogs eating contest, as opposed to the 65 or 70 that he normally eats. I mean, this is pure insanity. To produce vehicles of such dubious quality that you have had to issue, big or small, 138 recalls, and there's still 5 weeks left in the year. Oh my goodness gracious. Can we get to 140? I'm betting we can.
Now, Dad, it's interesting. We have a recent recall, and it's actually on the Ford Bronco. And what's interesting about this recall, sure, the magnitudes of scale are non-trivial. I'll pull it up on the screen, 200,000 of them.
Yes.
They're 2025, 2026 model year Broncos and Bronco Sports, excuse me. This has got it's an electrical system issue. The instrument panel display fails, but I'm fascinated here because it's 2025s and 2026s. I mean, it's not like we're talking old vehicles here. These are brand new Ford Broncos that are getting recalled. 200,000 of them.
So 229. So you're telling me that their newfound attention to quality control has allowed them to produce 229,000 Bronco and Bronco Sports in the 2025 and 2026 model year that have had to been recalled already.
And at the same exact time, Dad, I don't know if you saw this, but Ford CEO Jim Farley came out and said, quote, "We're in trouble because we have 5,000 mechanic jobs that are currently unfilled. They're paying over $120,000 a year for these mechanic roles. There's a mechanic shortage at Ford dealerships, and for Ford, it's like an incredible 1-2 punch, right? You've got too many recalls and not enough mechanics."
Well, and do you know why there's a mechanic shortage? Because if you're tasked with doing warranty work, it doesn't pay as well as retail work. Okay. Ford controls to a certain degree how much the warranty payments are going to be. And so it is harder for a mechanic to beat book time when it's warranty involved, because the hourly pay is less than if it was a retail labor rate. Just plus there is a shortage of mechanics on top of things. But yes, there's issues. We all have issues, and you know what? I mean, I knew techs that were making $150,000, $180,000 a year, but they were really good at what they did. They could beat book time. And what do I mean by that? Mechanics get paid off of the time a job is supposed to take. So if after all the studies, the book time for a given job, say, is 3 hours, and say the mechanic has done so many of those jobs and become so proficient at those that he can do them in 1.5 hours. Well, he gets paid for 3 hours worth of work, only having done 1.5. So that's how techs can make quite a bit of money. But you're also looking at the techs going, hey, we guarantee you there could be 140 recalls this year. and so a lot of your work is going to be based at reduced compensation because what we're going to collect from Ford is going to be less than what we collect on a retail basis.
Super interesting. Again, friendly reminder, folks, back at CarEdge.com, if you or someone you know is thinking about buying a vehicle now that we're in the best time of year to do it, check out our website and learn more about our promotion. $150 off our car buying service. Skip the stress, get a dedicated car buying expert to find and secure your next car. Start to finish, we handle the research, dealer outreach, test drive coordination, price negotiation, paperwork review, and delivery logistics. On average, customers are saving over $2,200, and we've helped tens of thousands. Please learn more and please book a free consultation call to start with our team. This is the best way to buy a car. Hands off, you know you're getting a good deal. It's really an incredible experience, and I encourage you to learn more back at CarEdge.com. And then, of course, click on Car Buying Service or CarEdge Pro, the tools we use to get you the best deal. You can get your hands on them for 15% off back at CarEdge.com. All right, Dad, let's come here to the chat. We've had some thoughtful contributions come in from Matthew. Thank you for this, Matthew. Ski season is here. Can't wait to see Ray out there. Dad, you never skied. You were never a skier.
No, that is not true. When I was courting your mother loved to ski. I had never skied. At that time, I was managing Admiral Nissan in Pleasantville, New Jersey, and I said, "Okay, I'm going to go skiing with my future wife." And so I took one of our King Cab 4x4 pickup trucks, and we drove from the Jersey Shore up to the Poconos. And your mother tried to teach me how to ski. I fell one time as the chairlift was coming to pick me up, and I was certain the damn thing was going to decapitate me, and so they graciously stopped it before it could. That was the only time I skied,
Okay.
and I remember your mother saying, "Well, you took me skiing when we were dating," and I said, "Yeah, we were courting. I got you now. I'm not doing that shit. I'm not doing that stuff again," and. So yeah, not the best way to live your life as a husband, but yeah, I did ski once.
All right. Thank you for this as well, Matthew. Appreciate it. Pops, $10,000 off. Must be disabled, blind, pregnant, active duty, first responder, teacher with loyalty and conquest credits and 800 FICO. Not all will qualify. Yeah, you could be.
I love that, Matthew. You could have a future in retail automotive.
And we've got here, Dad, from Jewel On Demand. Thank you for the kind contribution. Is it hard to get a deposit back if you decide you don't want the car you put a deposit on?
Well, it depends. You need to you need to have everybody agree that if you don't like the car when it comes in, that you can get your deposit back. And so that should be written on the buyer's order when you place the order. It should be signed by both you and one of the sales managers or the general manager at the dealership. I can tell you at some of the dealerships I worked for, if you ordered a vehicle and it was built to your specifications, if it came in and you decided you didn't want it, you were not getting your deposit back. We were holding that deposit as a credit towards whatever future purchase you decided to make at any of our sister dealerships or the dealership where you left the deposit. So it depends. You need to get it in writing so that you know.
All right, folks, that's a show for today. We're back with more Car Edge live tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Pops, enjoy the afternoon, and thanks for doing this as always.
Oh, you too, handsome. It was a pleasure sharing whatever the heck it is we share today with the good folks.